Okay, good morning. Today is Friday, the 14th day of Menachem Av, which means tonight Shabbos is a very special Shabbos. It is the Shabbos Nachamu and the Shabbos of 15th of Av, which is one of the greatest holidays, 15th of Av. That's compared to Yom Kippur, a special holiday. So in the Shabbos Yivayis Chanan, we read the Ten Commandments, we read the Shema Yisrael in the Shul, all good reasons to come and join this Shabbos. And we are holding in the middle of letter 5 in the Igeret Hakodesh, the letters of the Alter Rebbe in the fourth part of the Tanya. And we explained yesterday, we explained this letter in general, this is more of a deep letter. We said this is the way of the Alter Rebbe wrote the fundraising letter explaining what the tzedakah is, and in order to do this, the way he did it is he did it in the Chabad way. The Chabad is wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, going down to the depth of everything, and explaining what is the tzedakah, what is the depth of the tzedakah. So in this letter, there is a lot of fascinating explanation in Hasidus and Kabbalah in general, the way the world is created and all these things. Why is it important to know? It's important for us to know because this creates our connection to Hashem. It makes our appreciation of the mitzvahs. We know the way Hashem created the world it's not disconnected. There is a system, the way God created this world, spiritual world, physical world. And when we understand this, we understand that how with every mitzvah and every Torah study that we do, we connect. It gives us a better appreciation in doing of the mitzvahs. So we explained yesterday a very fascinating explanation about the concept of speech. We said Hashem created this world and the world to come, the spiritual world and the physical world. It says the Yud K Hashem Tzur Alamin. Hashem created the world to come, the spiritual world with the Yud, and the physical world with the Hey. What does that mean? The Yud represents the Chachma, as we explained yesterday, the wisdom. Everything begins with wisdom, with a spark. Then you have the Hey. The Hey is the understanding, which is the developing of the wisdom. And then you have the Vav, represents the emotions, and the second Hey represents the Malchus. Malchus is kingdom. And Malchus, in the human terms, represents the speech. Because the speech is something that is in the person only in relation to others. In other words, if a person is lacking any of the intellect or any of the emotional characteristic, then something is missing, is lacking. If he's lacking the concept of chesed, of kindness, it's not just that other people suffer because he's lacking. He himself is lacking something. But if a person cannot speak, then it doesn't affect the person himself. It affects the way he communicates to others. So this is the idea of Malchus, the kingdom, which is to be a king. You can have a person who has all the quality, all the qualifications to be king, but if he doesn't have people, like subjects, to be king over, then he's not king. So this is the lowest level that connects to others. Now, Alter Rebbe then said that we find something very interesting, that in this lowest level, in the level of the of the speech, we find that there is a connection, a direct connection to the very beginning. In other words, although there is the gradual process that comes from Chachma all the way down to Malchus, and the higher worlds receive from the higher places, and so on and so forth, and the lower until the lower worlds are connected with the lower levels. Nevertheless, we find that there is sort of a bypass from the Chachma all the way to Dibur, to Malchus. And he brings the example of speech. When you use the words, the articulating, the verbalizing the letters, the different letters. He gave an example of the different letters that come from the different parts of the that you utter the words. Like some letters use the lips, the bays, vav, mem, pei. But the way you use the way you use these tools to utter these letters is not something that you're thinking how to do it. It's not a gradual process. It's like, unlike when you learn how to play music, for example, as we spoke yesterday, when you play music, you practice. You can see the whole gradual process, how you're learning how to play the music. But when you're learning how to say the words, if you think about it, you cannot understand how and explain how to differentiate between the letter bays. You don't practice, you don't have an actual practice to be able to say the bays and the vav and the mem and the pei. It comes subconsciously, comes from above. In other words, when your essence, when your soul wants to utter a certain word, automatically the tools that you have automatically follow it. And they say this word, meaning that the words that you have is connected with a higher level. There is a direct connection from the ratzon, the will of the soul, directly to the speech, to the lowest level. If that is the case, Alter Rebbe is asking now, then how come we say that the next world, the Olam Abba, the spiritual world, that is connected with the Yud, with the Chachma, but the Olam Hazeh, but this world is connected more with the Hey. If we say that you have in the lowest, you have the Chachma, the highest level, then why do we say that it is connected with the Hey? Why not with the Yud, which is the Chachma, which is the higher level? This Alter Rebbe explains in today's shir that in the world, in the creation of the world, you have the body and you have the soul. And the same thing also in the letters, you have the body of the letter and the soul of the letter, the matter and the form of the letters. And the soul is connected with the Yud, but the body is connected with the Hey. Let's see how the Alter Rebbe explains it inside. Says the Alter Rebbe, Acho oisios, mebchinas choyme v'tzura, anikro pnimis v'chitzonis. Says the letters, they exist on planes of matter and form, which are also referred to as the internal aspect, meaning the form, which is the soul, and the external aspect, the matter, which is the body of the letters. And he explains, Ki hagam shemekoyram umikadmus haseichel urotzoin hanefesh. He says, although their source, the source of the letters, that comes from the primordial stage of the intellect, comes before the intellect. And the will of the soul, as we just explained, that as soon as a person wants to utter a certain letter, automatically he utters it because it's connected with above, bypasses all the system, the gradual development from the intellect to the emotions to the speech and so on. It is a direct connection that bypasses all this. Nevertheless, says the Alter Rebbe, Zui b'chinas tzuras shinui amifta shebechov beis oisiyos. Says this is but a form of the differentiation in the pronunciation of the 22 letters. So the form of them is connected with the above, bypasses everything. Aval b'chinas achoymer v'guf hisavusan v'hu b'chinas chitzoniusan u'hevel ha'yotze me'alev. But it says the matter and the body of their formation, meaning that is the aspect of their externality, is the breath issuing from the heart. So the matter of the letters, what is the source, is the simple breath. And that issues from the heart. From this breath is formed a simple sound which proceeds from the throat, which is the letter Hey. The letter Hey, that is the creating. Every single letter comes with this letter Hey, begins with this letter Hey. You have the breath. And then it divides to 22 different letters. And which is then divided into 22 kinds of enunciations and expressions with 22 letters. And how is it differentiated? Through the 5 ways of uttering the letters. These divisions taking place through the 5 known organs of speech, which is, it brings some of it, Aleph, Ches, Hey, Ayin, Me'agarin. The letters Aleph, the letter Ches, the letter Hey, and the letter Ayin, those are letters that come from the throat. Then you have Gimel, Yud, Kaf, Kuf, Me'achech. Those letters comes from the palate. While the breath itself, which has its own sound independent of the letters being spoken, says this is uttered by the letter Hey. The letter Hey is called Asaklila, which means a light letter. It's a light letter, meaning that it doesn't have any other substance to it. It's just the breath. And which is the source of the matter and body of the letters before the division into 22. There are 22 letters. And this is why our sages have said, they said that this world was created by the Hey. It was created by the external aspect or the body of the supernal letters whose source is the Hey of the divine name. In other words, even though the speech has a direct connection with the level which is above, which directly connected with the soul, the Ratzon and Nefesh. Nevertheless, this is but the way it comes in to be able to bring out the body, the matter of the letters. This comes through the letter Hey. So yes, we have the Yud, and we have in a sense higher than the Yud also, but the letter Hey represents the formation of the matter of the letters, the body of the letters. And the same thing is in the spiritual sense, in the concept of the creation of the worlds. So the higher worlds are related with the letter Yud, which the letter Yud is Chachma, because they more comprehend the godliness, and therefore they are connected more with the letter Yud. But this world, the lower world, is connected with the letter Hey, which represents the physical creation of this world. But although it is connected with the higher level, subconsciously it bypasses everything. But in order to bring to a physical creation, it's done through the letter Hey. So imagine the whole world, the whole physical world, the big, massive world, everything comes from what? From the breath of Hashem, so to speak. So this is the end of today's shir, and we'll continue with Hashem Sunday. We should have all the wonderful, wonderful Shabbos and hope to see you. Any questions, you can ask now the questions.